it when you talk true sense. Rather hear the words that glorify nonsense. Yes, and I got my brain, and I'm pretty like my mama. I don't wanna pick your brains. I just want the microphone. Take the mask off your face and look at me face to face. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I wanna share my love, but it's gotta be with someone who's precious. You're never gonna get my love, accepting that you're real precious. You're never gonna cramp my style, baby, cause I get a lot of pleasure. And if you wanna test my style, you better have a whole lot of measure. Cause I'm a rock back chick, never tag along the never look back chick. Trendy, a little crazy, intelligently singing rock back chick. No sticks, no stones, or any kind of weapon don't belong here. I don't wanna break no bones, I just want a microphone. Take the mask off your face and look at me face to face. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, 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 good morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Yes, good morning, viewers. It's Thursday, the 12th of May, 2022. This is the Tobago Updates morning show coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. I am Julian Skeet.
And I am Maria Richardson George, and this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Good morning to Tobago. Good morning, Trinidad, the Caribbean, and those of you viewing us on the live. Good morning, good morning.
Good
Julian.
morning to you,
Good morning.
Ria, and how has it been, Ria?
Very good day. Really good days. I thank
day.
God for some really good days.
Yes, I want to commend the young persons again yesterday, Youth Wednesday.
Excellent show.
Being led here, the entire team, youth host, youth producer, and the entire support team here at Tobago Updates. Yesterday was Wednesday the 11th. Today is the day after Wednesday 11th. Ria, how was Wednesday the 11th for you? And let me take this opportunity, seeing that I wasn't on here yesterday, to shout out Oswald George, belated birthday greetings. And that's the husband of Ria Richardson George, and I know the celebrations would have taken place yesterday. And viewers, if you saw the broad smile on Ria's face this morning, you know the birthday celebrations went very well. Ria, all is well today?
All is well, all is well.
Are you at liberty to reveal anything?
A wonderful night, a wonderful morning. I am thankful, you know.
But interesting, Ria starts the day with the night, but no problem at all.
Julian, oh boy, let me tell you, viewers, we've got a lot of things coming up later on in this month.
But it's a beautiful morning indeed. And you know, I mean, folks, we have our fun here, but what's really important is in the midst of a pandemic and a very challenging time, we got to really give God thanks when we're able to celebrate.
That's right.
Able to celebrate and so on, and we continue to give God thanks, you know, in that light. Yes, viewers, we head on over to news in 90 seconds with Denicia.
And here's your news in 90 seconds. CPAP workers will soon receive a pay increase. This was one of the decisions made at the Executive Council's meeting yesterday. The Secretary of Community Development, Youth Development and Sport, Pastor Terence Baines says the program is currently undergoing a restructuring. As part of the restructuring, workers on the management level of CPEP are affected. But Secretary Baines assures that all the workers can reapply for positions in other parts of the company. The savings made from the restructuring will be added with other funds to increase the salary of workers. In other news, the THA feels disrespected by NITCO's lack of consultation about a marina in Friendship Estate. The Secretary of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Renewal is calling for an urgent meeting with NITCO to discuss these plans. Meanwhile, he says the THA is not in support of a marina in Friendship Estate, but believes Kings Bay is the ideal location for one. The THA will manage that project and is calling for interested parties to submit proposals for developing Kings Bay. Meanwhile, the autopsy for 2-year-old Kamani Francis, who was fished out of a river in Point Fortin, is delayed. Kamani's parents visited the Forensic Sciences Center in St. James and hoped to get answers on the death of their son, but were left disappointed. There's a backlog of autopsies waiting to be done, and parents might have to wait up to 2 weeks to have the autopsy done. Kamani was found dead in the Guapa River in Point Fortin yesterday morning. The toddler wandered away from his home on Monday. There are many questions surrounding the disappearance and subsequent death of the toddler. Investigations are ongoing. That was the news in 90 seconds. Back to you, Julian.
There are two areas there stands out to me, particularly the situation with Kimani, you know, and indeed may his soul rest in peace. It's my understanding that we have seen residents and in fact the nation at large raise very serious concerns in relation to the neighbor that saw, you know, the child and had the situation, to the extent that the neighbor has taken a decision perhaps to temporarily move out of the area, you know, in terms of the comfort and so on at this time. And I want persons to remember, let's not take away from the fact that parents still have a responsibility.
Definitely.
You know, yes, it's one thing to blame the neighbor based on the feeling that they should have done more, but it does not at all take away from the fact that at the end of the day, parents and those in the immediate household still have, you know, a responsibility in that context. So it almost seems as though there's a heavier kind of focus on the neighbor
than on the parents,
versus where the initial responsibility lies as members of the household. Very, very interesting.
From what we're hearing, Julian, it took about 1 hour, 1 hour from the time that the neighbor saw the child walking on the main road to the time the police came knocking on the door of the Kimani's home. 1 hour. If you have I'm sorry, I'm a parent of 3, okay, only 3, but I know that if I have a 2-year-old, within that 1 hour, my eyes are on you like a hawk.
At some point.
Yeah, but an hour would have lapsed before you even realized that this child was missing. So I'm just asking here, what could you have been doing that was so important, so much more important? And sadly, you're left with the what ifs and what I should have done, what I could have done differently.
Correct.
But at this point, it is too late. And I agree with you. It is every parent's responsibility. I have 8, well, my last is a teenager, and I have adults. And I still, you know, check. If I don't see, I check.
Yeah,
so,
and that's the thing for me. I tell persons, I have a simple thing. It's either I am seeing you immediately or I am hearing you.
Right, but
and if I'm not seeing you and I'm not hearing you,
and age 2,
that's a cue for me.
1 hour?
Yeah, that's a cue for me that something is very unusual. And again, I want us to take it as an opportunity. You know, it's one thing to raise concerns, but we got to make sure as well as parents and persons within households, please, it's an opportunity for us to be more vigilant, vigilant in the circumstances, because we are seeing what is possible. And the other area quickly that stood out, we are seeing some more restructuring happening within the Tobago House of Assembly, and this is specific to the CPEP program. And you know, it's left in terms of further clarity to be brought. I'm hearing across the board that they are very wide. I've even seen the releases coming out from the minority leader. And you know, it's important for us to get some clarity with regards to it, because on one note, you're getting the impression that's being raised in relation to all CPEP workers have been sent home. But again, from what I would have heard through the in terms of the press briefing, my understanding is that the restructuring is happening with those affiliated in relation to management. So that my understanding, again, we'll get some further clarity, but my understanding and my information is that the daily rated, which are those who are out there in the field, they remain untouched within this restructuring arrangement. So we really want to get, would need to get some clarity from, we would have heard yesterday, Secretary with Responsibility, Pastor Terence Baines, in terms of putting forward the information. But there appears to be some misunderstanding, because some are saying, oh, all CPEP workers have been sent home. And then there's indications, as I mentioned, specific to restructuring and those in relation to management in terms of making some changes at that level. So we will definitely seek some clarity in that regard, but that's the understanding at this point, that is in relation to management. And interesting enough, we will hear further details within the coming days, I'm sure, in relation to, you know, why this is a best case arrangement at this time in moving forward with the CPEP program. Okay. Rhea, we got some birthdays on the lineup, this morning. All right. And we head on in. I think our birthday list is pretty long in this beautiful month of May 2022. All right. And we start on up this morning with birthday greetings. And Rhea, she resembles a Scot. Does she? Does she resemble a Scot? This is Crystal Scott. All right. And we want to wish Crystal Scott a happy, happy birthday, and continue to wish her God's blessings. Again, coming here from the Tobago Updates family. Happy birthday, Crystal.
And this is Garfield Batiste, fondly known throughout Tobago. In fact, he hails from Calder Hall, Tobago, and we know him as Bapo. So this is Bapo celebrating his birthday. Happy birthday, and lots of love going out to you. And this lovely lady here hails all the way from Mason Hall, but she's been living abroad for some years now. And this is Althea Butcher Peterson. So happy birthday going out to you from your sister Liz, the entire Butcher clan, and your son Vernil.
And this here, my very good friend, and apparently we got friends in common throughout studio here. Everybody seems to know Thais Lord. All right, so I want to wish a happy, happy birthday going out to Thais Lord there. I trust that you continue to enjoy the celebrations. All right, happy birthday, Thais. And we continue in the lineup. This is Janelle Aquin, and we're sending birthday shout-outs. My friend out there, Janelle Aquin, we trust that you have an enjoyable one. She's usually busy, if most of you know her, in work mode, getting things done. All right, but we want to take the time out to wish Janelle a happy, happy birthday. All right, and we also have on the lineup this morning Cindy Sammy, and we are sending birthday shout-outs to Cindy Sammy, coming from the Tobago Updates family. We trust that you have an enjoyable one. Yes, and we also got a special birthday in the mix here today. This is Shanice Jofield Pierre. I wonder if there's any connections to our very own Jude and Jofield.
I wonder. We wonder. I guess we may never know.
In fact, it's his sister. Yes, we want to wish his sister a happy, happy birthday, Shanice Jofield Pierre. Wishing you a happy birthday. And on screen, you cannot miss her at all.
No, you cannot.
You cannot miss her at all. This is yet another May-born. Great month to be in. This is Dr. Denise Sawyerfat Angus. And we want to wish Dr. Denise Sawyerfat Angus a happy, happy birthday. Coming from the Tobago Updates family. Yes, folks, it's the month of May. It's the best month of the year, and we give God thanks for the month of May as it takes us smoothly from April into June. We're on that midway verge in terms of within the year. Forgive me, folks, I'm also in May, so you know I love May. The month of May is about celebration.
You'll never hear the end of it.
Rhea, over to you, because I won't stop.
Oh boy. But you know, we've got some great things happening on the program this morning. So Julian, to start us off this morning. What do you have?
And just before we head out to the break, to get us started in the next segment, we're going to be hearing from Terence Sandiford, and the chairman of the NCBA Tobago region. And we're going to be speaking about Tobago Carnival in October. Yes, the thing's beginning to heat up. So we're getting a different perspective here this morning from the chairman of NCBA Tobago region. So we're looking forward to that chat this morning.
And we continue our discussion on with Mariska Thomas, who was on our program a little bit earlier on this week, as we continue the focus on Mental Health Awareness Month, which is the month of May. And she's going to be back with us as we focus on social media and mental health.
All right, and this morning we'll also be hearing from the Estate Police Association, and chatting with us will be Derek Richardson and Curtis Joseph, and that's the president and vice president respectively of the Estate Police Association of Trinidad and Tobago. All right, so we look forward to those discussions that would be upcoming in the lineup here for us this morning. Viewers, we want to thank each and every one of you that continue to join us day after day. Yes, we're number one because of you, each and every one of you. Those of you joining us via TV, Gael and M&E TV, those of you joining us via radio, those of you joining us via TobagoUpdates.com, YouTube, and those of you joining us on social media. Thank you. And remember, this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Trendy, a little crazy, intelligently, singing rock back, shake. No sticks, no stones, or any kind of weapon don't belong here. I don't wanna break no bones. I just want a microphone. Take the mask off your face and look at me face to face. Good morning, good morning.
Easier to bear. You won't regret it, no. Sweet, 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 squeezer, don't tease her. Never leave her. Got to talk, man, 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 squeeze her, don't tease her. Never.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, welcome back to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. We are chatting this morning with Terence Sandiford, the chairman of the NCBA Tobago region. And this morning our focus is Tobago Carnival in October. Terence Sandiford, good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning to you, Rhea. Good morning to the whole of Tobago, the whole wide world. Congratulations on Tobago Update.
Thank you so much. Now, viewers, let me just jump right in here. Before we even get into our topic this morning, you know, Julian has been harping a lot on the month of May and the birthday celebrations. And interesting enough, Mr. Sandiford had an announcement to make to us this morning as he walked on set. Terence?
The 17th of May, middle of May, best people in the world.
So, I tell you, it's never going to stop. Julian started and it's not going to stop. So Mr. Sandiford is just going to continue on with it.
Definitely.
Okay. So we've got our birthday coming up on the 17th of May. No, we won't forget that, definitely. All right, let's talk a little bit here now about what's happening with the Tobago Carnival. Now, we heard the Councillor Tashia Burris, the Secretary for Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, who made mention since about the 4th or so of April that within a week's time, a committee would have been formed. We are now in the month of May. Several weeks would have passed. Where do things stand? We haven't heard anything from her in terms of finalizing that committee. Where do things stand with your committee?
Well, let me be brutally honest. I like to deal with it straight as it is. We would have written to the secretary about 3 weeks now.
Right.
To have a meeting with her to express our version as to how the Tobago Carnival should go. We are yet to receive a reply.
Okay. How long ago was that?
And that was about middle of April.
Okay. About
the 19th, 20th of April, something like that. And here what I'm saying. This Tobago Carnival is not a new idea. Ria, and I don't know if you have the information, but in 1998, we, the Tobago arm of the National Carnival Bands Association, brought to Tobago the Tobago Fest.
Tobago Fest.
Right?
Right. And she did mention that, but how similar is that Tobago Fest to what?
All right.
To the idea
and so what we should do is look at it and tweak it. It's there already.
Right.
Let us improve it.
Right.
Now we are working on a plan for the Tobago Carnival, not for 2022, but for 2023 to 28, a 5-year development plan. Okay. You see, Ria, we have been doing things in an ad hoc way all the time across the board in Tobago.
And it's time to stop.
And it's time to stop. We need to sit back, we need to analyze it, put systems in place, and make the whole of Tobago benefit. I hear people talking about Trinidad Carnival and this and that. Let me give you a little information. Trinidad has lost its bearing in Carnival. The creativity that comes out of used to come out of the Trinidad Carnival is no longer there. I could go on my phone, send an order to China and buy 50,000 costumes, and that's it. There's no economy development for the small man or anything like that. And so what we need to do, you see, Fali was right there. Fali said we want to have a different carnival, and I'm total agreement with him.
Okay, what about it would you like to tweak? Now, there's some who say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There's some who say
it's broken.
Well, hear me. There's some who would say this is what we've been doing, and we've seen the numbers. Persons come from far and wide. They enjoy what we have. Why change it? What about it would you like to change?
Maria, let me ask you something. What stimulant this present carnival is bring to the economy of Tobago? Nothing. We spend 10, 12, $50 million every year. And if you ask the assembly, they can't tell you, well, they make 3 million, 1.5, nothing at all.
But we already check some balances. How do you...
Well, I don't know that. That has to come from the secretary or the secretary for finance or whatever it is. But here what I'm saying. The Tobago Carnival must go back to its origin. We must include the village councils and everybody, the villages, to bring bands. We have pending, listen to me carefully, $500,000 to pay a wire bender from Trinidad to come and stay at an elite villa down in the west. And here what happened? We have Marcus Devines, who could do a better job, who is go to Trinidad and help them with the carnival, and we can employ him here. He's supposed to be in the schools, he and a team, in all the
Teaching.
schools, teaching the mass. We were doing it at the NCBA, but unfortunately, we were booted out of in charge of Carnival in Trinidad and Tobago, in Trinidad. And so we had to stop the program because the finances wasn't there again. But we have to do this in a holistic manner. You see the piecemeal jumping and running down Trinidad after I get a grant and that kind of Mickey Mouse thing. It can't work. It
So
can't work.
what are you proposing? What are you proposing?
Listen, this carnival is here already, the 2022 carnival. I don't want to hear about no taste of Tobago carnival. It sounds so like if everybody, the 60,000 are in Tobago, can't think. A taste of this, a taste of buku, a taste of...
You want a full...
No, listen. We should name this the Gathering of the Heroes. A proposal will be coming, that's what the secretary should be saying. A proposal will be coming for Carnival, a true development plan for Carnival from 2023 to 2028, or whatever it is. And she should start to put people in place. I'm talking about not Lazaronians, I'm talking about not charlatans or Mozambique vipers. I'm talking about people who has the interest of Tobago Carnival, not people who want to make money off of it, just so, right? Let us set up a good committee and let us work it. We have sufficient time so that 2023, we could have 50,000 people on the island.
All right. What would you like to see for 2022?
22?
We have a few months.
Yeah,
and is this enough time for us to put forward?
You see, this should be used as a advertising tool for 2023. The secretary should be consistently, or her mouthpiece should be consistently talking to the public that, listen, this is just a stopgap measure. This is not the true Tobago Carnival. We're starting from the 2023 and on. This is just an advertising gimmick for, right? And you go ahead with it. People want a party, they want to play more, they want to do this, that. Let it go ahead. Me have no problem with that, right? But I am saying you cannot continue so. You cannot continue taking money from the assembly. We have $1 billion in debt. We have $1 billion in debt.
Let me just let you hear what some of our viewers are saying on the line, on the live. Didi Solange Vincent says it's time we get into the new. We can't stay vintage, which is what you are alluding to. Ga Vinci says that Avian Gordon can also do wire bending. So
yes,
you
Avian.
mentioned
That was our team. Avian, Marcus and them here. But I want to respond to the vintage. Yes, get into the new. But the concept, we must always have our culture in front. Trinidad mass is not cultural again. For you to find Trinidad mass, cultural mass, is you have to go Karpichaima and the far villages to find that. All you getting right now is beads, feathers, and no economy.
And what are you, okay, when we talk about moving into the new, do we still want...
Yes, you can do
it.
it.
We want the authentic mask.
You could listen, I have nothing against beads and feathers. I used to produce beads and feathers. But what I'm saying, it cannot be the wear at all. Tobago cultural aspect is rich. And it have guys like Brady. Look, listen, I could spend 3 hours here talking to you.
About Ghana.
Yeah, but God, to be brutally honest, I'll be fed up with people just sitting down and twiddling the thumbs and then doing nothing. I get really emotional about it because Tobago has the potential to show Trinidad how to operate. How to operate. We blessed with a lot here, you know.
Yeah.
But we cannot exploit it properly because we continue to have square pegs in round holes and people don't know from the elbow.
No, I'll tell you. I'm glad you didn't say it. I'm glad you didn't say it. But, you know, I was in Trinidad just a few weeks ago, and the number of persons that I met who found out that I was from Tobago, who are excited about this carnival in October. They're putting things in place to come. Come to see what?
And that is what I'm saying. Nothing wrong with people coming. And I hear me. I am all in favor of it. Right? But what I'm saying is that if you allow it to just continue floundering, what would happen? Certain people would make money. Certain people, but the money wouldn't trickle down to the farmer in Mason Hall,
right? Who
would be able to sell his vegetables and the little guest house and that kind of something. Right. People would you see, and you can't be vexed with Trinidad just looking at packages to get at it. But what I'm saying is that we must put preventative measures to protect our culture. If we don't do that, we're wasting time. Because listen, 95% of the Tobago band leaders is go Trinidad for the costume that might have been ordered away.
Yes.
I am saying, Ria, we need to open back up the village, community centers, have people doing work in it. Even if they're sticking the same beads and that kind of something. But you have them operating in a different phase that it could bring economic value. You could use it also. And this carnival shouldn't be on a weekend, you know, weekend alone, you know. It should be like 7 to 14 days. Whereby, whereby you develop all the aspects of Tobago. Whereby tourists could now go and spend a day in Mariah Mason Hall. Because the activities, you know, it have a certain...
Almost like the Tobago heritage.
Well, similar, but visiting sites. We need to develop all these sites. We need to clean the trails to the waterfalls and that kind of something. Mariah have 2-3 waterfalls that a lot of people don't know about. And so let us clear it up. Let us give people work to manage it. And let us advertise it. Go Dubai and advertise it. Go Scandinavian country and advertise it. Go England, that kind of something. And when we start doing that, we could now do so and say, go to Trinidad and say, look, we have a budget for $5.2 billion. And we now have in our possession 2.5. That we really don't need the all from you, but we could offer this to offset the cost. We need to be able to stop going to Trinidad cap in hand.
To sustain.
To sustain one thing. We all be doing is spinning top in mud.
All right.
And if we don't change it, well, it stays as is, you know.
Yeah, and one of our other viewers on the live, Kathy Lee Kim, is saying here that Sharon Phillips, the jazz singer, is also a master wire bender who is underrated. So we have people on the ground.
So, Rhea, why I'm asking you to do me one favor. I'm asking you to call Marcus Evans. Call Marcus Evans. Call Avian Gordon. I could give you the numbers. Call Sharon Phillips. I don't have Sharon's number, but it have others. So we could develop a team of 8 to 10 wire benders that could go around to the schools. Because that way we had to start. Go back to the schools. Make it part of the curriculum. Make it part of that. People go say, well, wire bending. No, it is part because we have a long-term goal. We have to look down the road. We just keep looking at our big toe. We have to look down the road and see how we could develop this economy, that we could live properly, that we could stop the set of guns that shooting people and that kind of thing. We could do that by keeping young people employed.
Yes.
For beating pan, for singing calypso, wire bending, artistic designs, all them kind of things could happen. But you must sit down properly.
Yes.
Plan it. It cannot be done ad hoc. And you call that one day because he play mass in Trinidad, or that one day because he have a degree.
Right.
We need to get people who has the potential to look down the road and don't look at yourself. Me.
Yeah.
Look down the road. That's how it is.
All right, Terence Sandiford, we've got to leave it there. But our viewers on the live, yes, they recognize your passion for this topic, your passion for this Tobago Carnival. And I need to recognize that as well. And we really want to thank you. And knowing you, you're going to keep the flame lit.
Yeah.
And you're going to keep the fire under those who need to chart the way forward.
Because let me tell you something before I leave. I am a member of PDP, but I'm not a sycophant. I'm not a sycophant. And once thing going good, all due respect, I good with it. But when the tata start, or when people don't want to observe that there's things to be done and they want to play coy and that kind of something, I go talk about it. Because me and none from no political party, anything I have, I good. Me and my wife.
That's right.
Yeah.
And a special good morning going on this morning to Susan Sandyford, my
Chinika
darling
waiting for me.
That's right. And you should be there. And you should be there. And people, that's it. You see, you can't put a cover over Terence Sandyford's mouth. You know, he'll say it like it is. But we've got to leave it there for this time. Lots more coming up on the Tobago Updates morning show. So remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Are you looking for that all-in-one shopping experience? Then look no more. Visit Lamb's Best Mart for your grocery items, fruits and vegetables, drinks, home items, stationery, gift items, hampers, shopping gift cards, toiletries, small hardware items, and much more. We provide order and pickup service, even delivery to your door. We are your friendly community supermarket. Check us out today at Lamb's Best Mart, located at 22 Daniel Trace, Canby, or visit us on social media at Lamb's Best Mart.
I'm Patricia Nicholson Richards to
Welcome
our top
to Tobago
story.
Update Sports. I'm your boy Marcus Daniel. Thank you.
Trinidad and looms as
remains when
the public is made.
Nobody lives here. Oil and gas exploration continues to affect the livelihood.
Spearsides Marine Industry. Tobago fishermen
When will the
Sion
Roxborough
Francis
Hospital be fully functional?
of the 5 a.m. to 12 p.m. window
Still
at
find
the island
treasures like the Golden
continue to
Waterfall.
rise in Tobago.
Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers. It's 7:36 a.m. and welcome back to the Tobago Updates Morning Show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. And you know, just before I dive on in to the next segment, I got to shout out my very own Mayborn as well. That was in the last interview there, Mr. Terence Sandiford. All right, May is indeed a great month, folks. All right, coming up in this segment, we are chatting with Mariska Thomas, conflict resolution coach of Enrich Life Limited. And as Ria would have mentioned, she would have been on a little earlier on this week, speaking to, you know, work pressure and stress. And today we are delving into yet another area of focus, specific at that to social media and mental health. And this becomes particularly important in these times because within the last few months, I dare say within the last year or two, we've become so attached to a virtual world in an effort to survive and to live and to continue to operate within the confines and the challenges, rather, of this pandemic. Morning, and welcome to you.
Good morning, Julian.
All right, and thank you so much for joining us on set once again. So as we get started this morning, we want to chat about kind of to just put things in context. What would one refer to as perhaps what the major concern associated with the connection between mental health and social media?
One would want to think about the influence that comes from social media and how that can influence your mental health. Because as much as you have some beliefs, when you go to social media, there's a plethora of different thoughts. And at times, based on what you believe in, it might contradict with the thoughts that you're seeing. And so from there, you start to have different thoughts. Okay, I wonder if what I'm thinking is correct, if this is a lie, those type of things. So you might end up in a tailspin asking a lot of questions. It might become overwhelming. Things like that.
So what do you say to persons that give the concept that social media is a whole fake kind of thing? You create a personality, so to speak, in order to match with persons. What are the real benefits coming out of social media from your perspective?
I would agree that yes, on social media, persons do put on a persona. Some persons more real than others, but it's generally a highlight reel of someone's life. And yes, the benefits to social media would be that you can communicate with your friends and family, you can find friends online, and you can also discover sources of valuable information, as well as it could be used as a source to show your creativity and self-expression.
All right, and simultaneously, you know, as we continue, we want to also touch on those are the benefits, but tell us a little bit about the negatives as well associated with social media. I feel like the negatives that you hear so much more often by virtue of how our society is, but what would you consider some of the key negatives associated with social media?
One of the negatives that I find quite interesting is isolation, which is much like our theme for this year for mental health, loneliness. So that the more someone interacts with social media, the more lonely they become, because the more time you spend on social media, the less time you have in reality interacting with persons, right? Another negative is that persons tend to compare their low points with the highlight reel of other people. So with that in mind, they tend to feel dissatisfied with the quality of their life. There's also the fear of missing out. So let's say, for example, if you post that you are on vacation in, I don't know, Scandinavia or something like that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, look at you. You have a chance to go over there and I can't get to go. And now I'm feeling a kind of way because you get all this in, but no, it's not necessarily that. It's just that at this point you would have had the opportunity to do something that you wanted to do and you chose to share it with everyone. Then at some point later on, I might have the opportunity to do the same thing. So persons tend to compare their low points with everyone else's high points, and this creates, an imbalance in the way that persons think about themselves.
And from your perspective as a professional, how do persons get past that? Because imagine as a parent having to treat with that kind of challenge where you notice your child kind of, you know, becoming not as comfortable, and then when you try to get to the bottom of it, there's some discomforts and wondering why they can't enjoy certain things like their friends and so on. How do you get past overcoming that kind of negative?
All right, so I know one thing that some parents may choose to do would be to take away the phones and say, well, you know what, if this is what it is might be causing the problem, let me just eliminate it, and then that should help. But that is something that they probably should not do, because in the age of social media and technology, a child doesn't want to feel left out. What they should do instead is to have a conversation with the child, explaining to them that what you see on social media is not the reality of life. Right? You could also enforce having social media breaks. That way, we do 10 minutes today, you take a break, you recuperate, you come back to reality, then you could go back on there after we have done, I don't know, you cleaning, your homework, your everything, then you could take a break and you could go back to social media again.
In terms of going back in that direction.
Yeah.
And for the parents or for those adults who are not as conscious-minded, when it comes to social media, and you know, some take on, which unfortunately in 2022 might be the wrong attitude, are not interested in that online thing. I don't necessarily want to go in that direction. What are some of the signs that they can potentially look for those who are not as on top of social media, and you may not necessarily be following your child to get a sense of, all right, what they're posting as WhatsApp stats or what they're putting out there? What kind of signs can they look for in terms of identifying, hey, we may have some challenges in the mix here in terms of mental health possible issues?
From the time you see an individual comparing themselves to other persons, let's say right now what's very popular is body image, right? So let's say a young girl, she's looking at celebrities in their fitted gowns and whatnot, and she might not have the same silhouette. She might be now looking to assimilate the shape. She might decide she wants to lose weight. In doing that, she may develop an eating disorder because of the content that she's consuming. Sorry. So that is definitely one sign. Also, being distracted at school or at work. So every minute a message comes in on the phone, you have to check it. You always feel as though you have to be posting something in order to be relevant. And if it is that you don't post, you don't feel content. Right? Also, at times, persons may be suffering from lack of sleep. This is, if it is that you are looking at the phone the last thing in the night, the first thing in the morning, and then sometimes during the night, this will tend to disrupt your sleep pattern. So now you don't get enough sleep. Things like that.
So, and you know, one of our viewers on the live is speaking about a lot of parents being stuck on social media. And if I understand what the viewer is stating here, how do you deal with the challenge when the combination of the parent is probably the one too absorbed in social media, and you are the child saying, Jesus, I just wish mommy and daddy would not be out there like that, because you know children say, no, they're embarrassing me. How does the child deal with that kind of flip situation? Or is there the suggestion that another adult should intervene to help that parent? What do you advise a younger one to do that has those kind of concerns? Because you know what, mommy and daddy out there trying to live their best life but for their younger days, and not necessarily for the age and responsibility that they now have.
Well, in that case, if the child could muster up to speak with the parent, that would be awesome. But if that type of communication is not there, they can speak to another adult that they trust and ask them to speak with the parent first, and then see where it goes from there. To
be able to go from there. All right, another one of our viewers is speaking to social media being an aid to prevent loneliness. Give us a sense on that perspective in terms of, and I think that ties into what are some of the positives that can come through the use of social media.
All right, so yes, I would say it can aid in relieving someone from loneliness, but for how long? Right? What happens is that we tend to go to social media a lot because, let's say, if we put up a photo, the hormone dopamine is released. So we get this feel-good feeling. And because of that, we tend to do it over and over and over again. Right? Having that in mind, persons would continue along the same track. Right?
All right. Give us just a little bit as well, because we're winding down in terms of the interview. I want you to follow on that answer to tell us about some healthy social media habits. Because, you know, again, we talk social media broadly. Some chastise it, some love it. But just give our viewers a broad sense of healthy social media habits.
One thing we can do is that before bed, at least an hour, we can put down the phone. What this does is that it helps our body to release the hormone melatonin, which helps to regulate our sleep-wake cycle. Also, we could decide to plan outings with friends offline, right? So that we are able to see persons face-to-face and have that type of connection, that needed connection that helps to reduce stress, that helps to improve our self-esteem and makes us feel better. Also, what we can do is to limit the amount of times that we check our phones. We could also put our phone on silent to our notifications. That way, we don't constantly pick up the phone every minute. Oh gosh, I need to see, I need to see, I need to know. Put down the phone, talk to people, and then you can get back to the phone when everything is okay.
I've got an interesting perspective for you before we close. As a conflict resolution coach, and we're going into the realm of what might be marriages and relationships as well. Some say, and I know this is a nice pet area, might be your colleague in the field, my friend, morning, Dr. Crystal Benjamin, out there. When we're speaking in terms of marriages and relationships, how do you have that balance in such a way that social media doesn't become something that hampers and forms arguments because of the fact that one partner feels that another spends too much or gives too much attention to that, when one might not be as into social media? Or sometimes you have the reverse, one wanting to be out there in that kind of way and the other having a reverse. What are your suggestions in that context in terms of encouraging persons? How do you limit it, or how do you balance it in such a way that it doesn't get to the point of affecting what might be a good relation or a good marriage?
I will always say, have a conversation, because every union, every individual is different. So what might work for me might not work for you, might not work for her, right? So have a conversation with your partner. If it is that I say I'm not comfortable, let's explore why I'm not comfortable. How can you make me comfortable? What can we compromise on to make sure that our union is safe despite having the introduction of social media?
All right, thank you so much. And we have had it here, hearing from conflict resolution coach of Enrich Life Limited, Mariska Thomas, and we're speaking to social media and mental health this morning. Very pertinent area, folks, as we continue to move forward, recognizing that, hey, we have got a responsibility not to take things for granted. So even while we enjoy social media from time to time, we have to ensure that we don't enjoy it at the risk of our mental health. So thank you very much again, Mariska Thomas, conflict resolution coach, for joining us on set here this morning. Viewers, we want to thank you so much for the continued love and support we are seeing here on the live. I'm seeing here comments, very articulate young lady. All right, social media and relationship. Hey, very interesting. A nice new topic added in there, social media and relationships. I see Dr. Crystal Benjamin on the live as well. That's a whole other topic. And I agree with you, we'll probably have to explore that most definitely in terms of going a little further. Ula Hazel, I'm seeing on the live here this morning with us, connecting, as well as Shanika Harris, Laverne, Simon, Kuki Melville, and each and every one of you joining us on the live. We want to thank you so much for your continued love and support. This is the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. And this is your opportunity to remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
There's a taste in the air everywhere. Feel the vibe, cause it's something to share. Smooth, rich and creamy, you'll find it right here. Makes you smile, relax a while, it's fun and good cheer. Ooh, enjoy every scoop. Ooh, every taste will get you hooked. We have flavors that you love, a combination special. Come along, enjoy our treats. This is Uncle Pete's.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
This day in Tobago history, did you know that on the 11th of May, 1857, an act was passed entitled An Act to Remove Doubts as to the Rights of the Liberated Africans in Tobago? According to Henry Iles Woodcock, A History of the Island of Tobago, 165 years ago today, this act was the second of 3 acts passed by the legislature of Tobago on the subject of immigration, post-slavery, and apprenticeship. The first act, dated 4th June 1852, was an act for the better protection of persons under the care and control of others as apprentices, servants, or liberated African immigrants. In that act, African immigrant was said to mean any person from Africa who shall be imported or brought into this island by Her Majesty's government. The last act on this subject was passed on the 15th of May, 1861, and was an act to amend and consolidate the laws regulating and of liberated African migrants. In essence, this third act repealed 2 former enactments on the same subject, but leaves untouched the 1852 and 1857 acts. It also provided for the reception of liberated African immigrants on their arrival in the island, and for their support and maintenance until allotted to the parties who shall apply for them, and enter into such contract with them for their services as is prescribed by that act. The act that passed today commands that all liberated Africans domiciled or resident in Tobago are to be deemed natural-born subjects of Her Majesty and are capable of taking, holding, conveying, devising, and transmitting any real or personal estate within the colony. And the words liberated Africans are declared to mean all persons dealt with or detained as slaves who heretofore have been or hereafter may be seized or taken under any of the acts for the abolition or suppression of the slave trade by Her Majesty's ships of war or otherwise, and liberated or delivered to the officers appointed to protect, receive, or provide for such persons, and all other persons who, as having been dealt with, carried, kept, or detained as slaves, may have been taken and liberated, or received, protected, or provided for under any of the said acts. It is important to understand that even though England had abolished the slave trade, they still stood to benefit from it. Other European nations were still kidnapping persons for the purpose of using them as enslaved labor, and often the British would patrol what was formerly the slave trade route, rescuing captured Africans from illegal trade ships, but not seeking to return them to their countries of origin. Instead, those persons would be taken to St. Helena for processing and then dispersed among the British West Indian Islands, where they would first serve as apprentices for 3 years, as the Act stated. This was the reason African immigrant had to be defined for the purposes of the Act, but the migrant in question did not come of his own free will. You've been watching This Day in Tobago History. My name is Devon Adana. Back to you in studio.
Thank you so much there, Devon and Dana. Viewers, welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, and lots of great and exciting things continue to happen right here. We are chatting this morning with Derek Richardson. Not sure if we're cousins just yet, but we're going to hold on to that. Derek is the president of the Estate Police Association of Trinidad and Tobago. Along with him this morning, Curtis Joseph, the vice president of the Estate Police Association of Trinidad and Tobago. This morning, viewers, our focus is on the Estate Police Association. Gentlemen, good morning and welcome to you.
Hi, good morning, good morning.
Good to have you on the program with us. Now, let's talk a little bit about the Estate Police Association. How new is this association to Trinidad and Tobago, and whether or not there is involvement? Well, I mean, we see Mr. Joseph here, so
yes,
there must be some Tobago involvement
exactly.
in Trinidad and Tobago. So tell us.
Yes, okay. Just to be, the Estate Police Association has been in existence since 1951. It's actually created by the statute, laws of Trinidad and Tobago, in 1950 and became operationalized in 1951. It was created to represent the interests of estate police officers, that is, those officers who carry a precept from the Commissioner of Police. That precept entitles you or empowers you, in fact, to effect arrest, and you have all powers, rights, immunities, responsibilities, and liabilities of that of a state police officer below the rank of corporal.
Right.
So you would find the state police officers at the Port Authority, at the Airport Authority, at the state enterprises. You'll also find us in the private security industry, those officers that are contracted and have precepts in the private security industry and work in other areas. So that's where we are situated.
So for those persons looking on out there who say, man, you're just an estate police, you can't do nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What do you say to them?
Well, the law says something differently. The law does say, as we said, that we have all powers, rights, and immunities of that of a state police officer.
Okay.
Right? There's a distinction, and we want to point out, between what is a state police officer and what is a security officer.
Right.
So, we always, people use the term as a broad term, security officers. But a security officer is really a person who does not carry that precept and does not have that power of arrest under law, except under, of course, common law. Right. So that is the main distinction between what is an estate police officer and what is a security officer.
All right. Let's chat a little bit here with Mr. Curtis Joseph, the Tobagonian on set with us this morning as it relates to the Estate Police Association. Tell us about Tobago's involvement in this.
All right. Good morning, Tobago. Tobago involvement in this is just as the presidency is Trinidad and Tobago, and Tobago involvement in this is that we represent all estate constables in Tobago. Right. Because as the president said, there is a distinction between an SO and an estate constable.
Right.
So we represent, once you are precepted, you could come to us in Tobago, and we will represent you anytime you have any grievance and that kind of stuff.
So there was a union?
Yes.
Yeah, basically, right. Yeah. So we do all the representation. We represent all the workers here from different companies like MI4, Airport Authority, Port Authority, and other companies.
Right. Tell us about the awareness of this association. As Cousin Derek said here a while ago, this association has been in establishment for a number of years, almost 70 years or so.
Yes, yes.
Just a little bit over 70 years.
Yes.
So with that in mind, what is happening on the ground as it relates to the officers in Tobago? How aware are they of the association? And give us some information there.
Well, a lot of officers in Tobago, estate constables, that is, know about the organization because we are in existence in Tobago for about the last 15 years or so.
Right.
We were at Give Building, and now we are at the bottom of Burnett Hill and that kind of stuff. And we represented a lot of officers in different with different matters, industrially and otherwise. So we are around a long time. So a lot of persons in Tobago know about us.
All right. In terms of representation, what does the association offer to officers who may have a grievance or, in fact, who may have a situation as it relates to industrial action?
Yes. Okay, well, once a grievance occurs, once somebody has a grievance with a company, they can, of course, their first obligation is to raise that with the company and say, listen, I have a grievance. Okay? If it's not attended to, of course, you can come to the union and become a member. Right? It's a small fee of $50 per month. Okay, become a member, and once that is not sorted out at the level of the company, you can come to the office in Tobago and speak with Mr. Joseph or the secretary who's there, and you will file out a grievance form, and we will attend to the issues. You will contact the company, you will write in to have a meeting and see how we can sort this out. If it's not being able to be sorted out at that point, we have the responsibility now to report it to the Ministry of Labor as a dispute, right? A grievance. So when it reaches there, it's in conciliation level, okay? So we meet with the ministry officials and we try to trash it out with the company. If that is not sorted at that level, of course, we ask for a unresolved certificate, right? Which means that the dispute has been unresolved despite the consultations and conciliation procedures, and that is now sent to the industrial court for adjudication.
All right, and how have these matters in terms of the track record of the association? Yeah.
Yes, we have a very favorable track record as it pertains to resolving our issues at both the industrial court and the ministry, right? So we also negotiate terms and conditions, so agreements with different companies. Once you have a branch board, a local branch board, you have an agreement with the association. We do the negotiation for wages and terms and conditions for those companies.
All right. Is this information online?
Yes, we do. We have a website. We have a website. Our website is www.estatepolicett.com. If you go onto this site, you can become a member. You can, for the first time, we have implemented this, where you can actually sign on and be as a member electronically, right? So you can go on there on the site. You will see all the information concerning the association. We have judgments from the industrial court downloaded there. So if you are studying and if you have an interest in getting more information, of course, you can go onto the site and you will get judgments. And you'll see whatever information that we have there, it is right there how you can contact us. Our in Tobago office is 460-0276, right? And you make the call, and then the Miss Daniel, who is our secretary there, she's very, 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 very courteous and very, very effective in making us aware of what are the issues and giving information. So we're quite happy with what is happening in Tobago, but we just wanted to make sure that everybody is on board and come on to say, listen, you have issues. There are a lot of issues going on. People working a lot of hours, not being paid overtime. People being victimized, right? We want you to know that there is someone, a body that is constituted by law, by which you can come to and have your matters addressed.
All right. Now, while you were talking, I pulled it up on my phone,
yes.
And yeah, definitely it's right here. Yes. So the Tobago office is located at Leacock Building, Burnett Street, Scarborough, Tobago. Yes. And just as Cousin Derek Richardson mentioned here, the phone number is 460-0276. And for those of you looking on from Trinidad, the Marabella office is 70 to 72 Batu Avenue, Marabella, Trinidad. And their contact is 658-2293. And there is an email address as well, estatepolice@ymail.com. Yes. So, I tell you, Estate Police have gotten tech savvy.
Yes,
we have. The Tobago email address is EPA-Tobago. Tobago@gmail.com.
EPA-Tobago@gmail.com.
Yes.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about the safety for these officers, safety, training and safety. What is being provided for them?
Well, depends on which environment you go. You do have some level of training and safety provided for the officers. What we found is that a lot of the private security companies, they were woefully inadequate. One of the issues we have tried to address is the issue of safety as it pertains to bulletproof vests. And one of the issues that engaged me when we came into office in 2018 was when the death of the officer, it's a nurse, right, who was killed tragically. So we decided to try and get every estate police officer a vest. What we've met is that the companies have been complaining about the cost of a vest, $5,000 a piece. So we petitioned the government at every budget since then to remove all the taxes and duties from bulletproof vests, so make it affordable for the smaller companies to be able to give the officers a vest and give them a level of safety when they carry out their duties. Training is extremely important. Consistent training or in the firearms skill is a diminishing skill. If you don't keep upgrading your training, it diminishes. So in that period of time when you may really have to use that skill, you want to be always active. You want to be always on point. So that is extremely, extremely important to us, and we have been having discussions with companies across the board to ensure that that sort of training and providing the proper equipment is part of our agreements. That's what we're trying to do right now.
Okay. I know we're really happy to hear that. And again, it is the whole issue of safety and security.
Yes.
Safety and security.
Goes together.
Because at the end of the day, every officer would be putting their lives
at risk.
At risk and on the line every day.
Every day.
From the moment you put on that uniform and you step outside, yes?
Yes, every day. And that's important for everybody to know. And that's why we, when we see some of the actions of employers that are they only want to know is to get the job done.
Right. But not compensate.
But not compensate, right? And not provide the proper training and development. And that's what we're saying to people. Listen, come to us. Come to Mr. Joseph in Tobago. Come to us in Trinidad and say, listen, I have an issue with this. Let us bring it forward. We can't take it up to the highest levels, right? And we've even gone past the courts. We've gone to the government. We actually petitioning the government to change some of the laws which actually affect the safety and security of the officers. Right?
Let me ask you, is there a particular type of environment that is necessary for estate police officers? In terms of, okay, you're not state police, but yet the law covers you.
Yes.
But in terms of your working environment as it pertains to the employers, is there a particular type of environment that is necessary for you to function? Or is it that, well, we're estate police, we could function anyway?
Yeah. And that is true. There is a particular environment. That environment is stated in the OSH Act, right? You need to provide, every employer has a responsibility to provide a safe working environment for that person, right? The policies of the company must be closely aligned to the security of the company, right? So whatever policies...
could you repeat that, please? Yes. The safety of the company must be closely aligned
to the operations of the security department.
Wow. Yeah. It doesn't always work like that.
It doesn't always work like that. You need people to understand that. Right? And that's why when we hear people, you said it earlier, safety and security, it always goes together. Right? They would pay a lot more for the safety of somebody with a HSC certificate. Right? Pay a lot for that. But the person who actually, because when the person enters the gate, who is the first person who will think that policy is the security officer or the estate police officer, right? And when something does happen, he is also a first responder.
That's right. That's where you go to first.
Exactly. So that is why we want people to understand the profile of the estate police officer.
All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you. Just before we wrap up with you, is there anything else that you'd like our viewers and maybe your other estate police officers to know this morning?
Yeah, well, one thing that is affecting us a lot in Tobago is that really established companies like the Airports Authority and the Port Authority and TNT, we have no problem with those. But the private security industry in Tobago, they're really bad. All the companies that is Tobago based, not Tobago owned by Tobagonians and that kind of stuff. I'm trying my best to get to the owners to tell them now, you must establish a branch board.
A branch board?
Right.
What is the branch board?
All right. The branch board is the workers, the officers in the company. They now will form a branch board.
Shop steward
like shop steward. And they're going to get all the information that is affecting the workers.
The complaints.
Right. All the complaints. And the grievances also. And take it to the employer. And from there, if it is now that they can't handle the situation, then you come to us.
Right.
Right? But because first, when we go into an environment like some of them here, when we look at the issues, they could have been dealt with at the branch board level.
Right.
Instead, I had to come to the executive level for that kind of information. And I don't know the formation, the next time probably offer that opportunity, I will explain to you how our branch board is constituted and that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Right? But we really need that in Tobago.
Very much so. Thank you so much for chatting with us. Yes, Mr. Joseph, definitely, definitely. And I think they would have heard, they would have gotten that message this morning. So, you know, maybe before you get to them, they come to you.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully before you get to them, they come to you. So thank you so much.
I just wanted to point out, just to give a little information also too. We do have what you call a women's committee at the SC Police. So there is a particular person who will be voted on to be that woman's officer. And what we have done, even during the pandemic, right? We have had this book drive, back to school drive, where we provide backpacks with stationery and all of that. And that is coming up. Tobago has always been included and will be included again, where we're going to give out 100 backpacks, right? Book bags with stationery, full of stationery for children to go back to school.
Wow, thank you so much. Right? Definitely. I think Tobago is certainly looking forward to that.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being on the program with us. Well, viewers, we've got to wrap it up here, and we really want to thank you so much for joining us today on our Tobago Updates morning show. And no, we've got to wrap up. So it's over to Candice and Denise here just after with GMT. And we encourage you viewers to remember to wear your mask, sanitize, and you can socially distance. Come on, gentlemen, you're doing it with me this morning. Socially distance. That's right. That's how we do it. All right. So bye. We'll see you tomorrow.
Accepting that you're real precious. You're never gonna cramp my style, baby, cause I get a lot of pleasure. And if you wanna test my style, you better have a whole lot of measure. Cause I'm a rock back chick, never tag along, then never look back chick. Trendy, a little crazy, intelligently, singing rock back
Advertise with
chick.
Tobago Updates.
No,
Call 284-6597. If you have a small or large business, we can get your information in front of the masses. Reach our rapidly growing viewership on Facebook and YouTube. Promote your brand in Trinidad and the Caribbean through M&E TV Now and Gayel. Yes, we can build unique ads for your business. Call now 284-6597 and advertise with us.
And creamy, you'll find it right here. Makes you smile, relax a while, it's fun and good cheer. Ooh, enjoy every scoop. Ooh, every taste will get you. We have flavors that you love, a combination special. Come along, enjoy our treats. This is Uncle Pete's.
It makes it easier to bear. You won't regret it, no. Sweet, 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 squeezer, don't tease her, never leave her. Got to talk, man, 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 got to talk. Man, squeeze her, don't tease her, never.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denise.
Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers, we are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we stronger.
Prep workers to get pay increase.
TJ open for proposals for Marina in Kings Bay.
Autopsy for 2-year-old Kamani Francis delayed.
And in sports, the TTFA to host screening sessions in Tobago.
We are beaches, we are rivers, we are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we stronger.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago. I am Candace Jackson.
And I am Denise Dempster. It is Thursday, 12th May 2022. Let's get into our top story.
The only workers being affected by the restructuring of CPEP are the operations team, according to Secretary for Community Development, Youth Development and Sport, Pastor Terence Baines. Here are the details.
Speaking at Wednesday's post-executive council media briefing, Secretary Baines sought to dispel rumors that the vulnerable workers in the program will be affected.
That the restructuring that we are doing will not affect the workforce at the bottom. None of the persons at the bottom there will lose their jobs at all.
Instead, those in the operational team will be placed in other areas if they wish. Pastor Baines reminded the population that CPEP was meant to be a temporary relief for workers and not a permanent job program. He explained that it has become necessary for the program to be restructured after discovering that there was no policy governing the program and that there were discrepancies throughout. However, the door remains open for employees on the operational team.
That persons can and should reapply to the new CPEP setup. I also want to say that we are about replacement rather than displacement, but at the same time I would have to be Jehovah God to say categorically nobody will lose their job. I think I would have to be God for that, and you know I am not God.
The restructuring is reportedly saving the THA over $120,000 in the first instance. Baines stated that at today's Executive Council, the THA decided to use that money and supplement it to give all CPEP workers an increase in pay.
And from our conversations today within the Executive Council, we have agreed that we are going to give an increase to CPEP workers, those daily paid workers,
we are also going to make sure that they get all the benefits that they should get.
These benefits will include more sick leave and casual leave, as well as better structured vacation packages. The amount by which CPEP workers' salaries will be increased is still to be determined. For Tobago Updates, I am Gail Thomas.
Meanwhile, the minority leader Kelvin Morris is now accusing the PDP-led THA of breaking promises to the people of Tobago. In a press release issued yesterday afternoon, Morris pointed out that the PDP promised to keep all the employment of all included contract workers in the THA. However, he claims he has information indicated that 200 people will laid off under the guise of restructuring throughout many divisions across the THA. Morris dismissed the claims of restructuring, saying that the PDP is using that excuse as an attempt to victimize political hires of the previous PNM administration, claiming that not only are the actions unjust, but he says it goes against proper industrial relations practices, especially since the Deputy Chief Secretary Watson Duke was a champion for workers' rights as a trade unionist and former head of the Public Service Association. Morris is now reminding the PDP of their promises to keep employment in the THA regardless of political affiliation.
In some other news now, the THA feels disrespected by the way in which NIDCO has released plans to the public for a marina in the Friendship Estate. Infrastructure Secretary Trevor James says as he spoke, this according to Infrastructure Secretary Trevor James as he spoke on the issue at the weekly post-executive media briefing yesterday. Here are the details.
Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Renewal Secretary Trevor James said the lands that NIDCO proposes to use belong to the THA. Additionally, there is no record of any communication with the THA, either with the previous administration or the current administration about the project.
My perusal of the Executive Council minutes for that entire area, there has been no official Executive Council discussion on this matter. There is no MOU that has been discussed with the NIDCO, similar to what has happened at Rocky Point.
James did not want to comment on the plans released to the public, saying it was premature. He also does not agree with a marina in Friendship Estate. Instead, the THA wants to go forward with a marina in Kings Bay.
Come next week, the Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development intends to put out an expression of interest for a marina at Kings Bay, and I want to ask all those who are interested to visit the site and submit to us your proposals for that.
The idea of a marina at Kings Bay has been proposed in the past because of the sheltered area of the bay. James believes that the location is ideal for a marina as it will have less environmental impact.
Kings Bay remains probably the best location for a marina. We have no doubt that the economy in Tobago will benefit from a marina. We are in the best place geographically.
James is calling for a meeting with NIDCO to hash out the details about the marina in Friendship that the government is proposing. For Tobago Updates, I am Gail Thomas.
Moving on to the latest development in crime, police officers are very close to making arrest for a string of robberies which occurred in Tobago recently. Updating the public at yesterday's post-executive media briefing, Assistant Commissioner of Police William Nurse promised the public that arrests will soon be made.
So there is copious evidence in the possession of the police. It's just to look at it, refine it, toss it about, juxtapose, and decisions would be made very, very soon in that regard.
ACP Nurse says high-level meeting have produced strategies to bring down the rate of robberies. Meanwhile, new technology is being used to gather and analyze evidence.
There's a particular technology that we introduced last night into the mix, and I wouldn't tell you what that is. It is so potent that the person just had to come and spend one day, and they're already back on their way back to Trinidad to do the analysis and to report back to us.
Sorry?
As a result, ACP Nurse is sending this warning to criminals and would-be criminals.
You cannot uncommit a crime. When you commit a crime, it stays committed. And it is the robust investigation concept of our policing that will bring it home. So I give you the assurance, and I tell them something else. Every contact leaves a trace, and the last contact is the strongest.
ACP Nurse also boasted that the Tobago police has been doing a good job at controlling crime on the island. He says that in the last 5 years, Tobago experienced 100% solve rate for murders, while other serious crimes has also experienced a high solve rate.
Turning now to some national news. The country will have to wait a little while longer to find out the cause of death for 2-year-old Kamani Francis, as his autopsy is delayed. Kamani's parents visited the Forensic Sciences Center in St. James and hoped to get answers on the death of their son, but were left disappointed. There's a backlog of autopsies, and his parents might have to wait up to 2 weeks to have the autopsy done. Kamani was found dead in the Guapo River in Point Fortin Tuesday morning. The toddler wandered away from his home on Monday and was spotted by a neighbor walking barefooted and clad in a diaper down the street. A massive search party was mounted to find Mr. Kamani. There are many questions surrounding the disappearance and subsequent death of the toddler. Police are continuing to investigate the unfortunate incident.
Today marks International Nurses Day. The COVID-19 pandemic has certainly highlighted the importance of nurses in the front lines. The Ministry of Health recognized the contribution of nurses. Here is more in this report.
International Nurses Day is celebrated annually on the anniversary of Florence Nightingale's birthday. She is fondly known as the Lady with the Lamp and was born on May 12, 1820. She is often referred to as the pioneer of modern nursing, as explained by Minister of Health, Terence Dialsing.
And it was Florence Nightingale and her experiences that she gained as a nurse during the Crimean War at that time that led her to develop policies and procedures for sanitation especially, and care for soldiers, and she became known as the Lady with the Lamp.
The theme for this year's celebration is Nurses, a Voice to Lead, Invest in Nursing, and Respect the Rights to Secure Global Health. As the world is recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic, this theme is resonating with many globally. At home, Nurse Josette Smith-Bethel, a registered nurse attached to the intensive care unit in the Cooper Hospital, shares similar sentiments.
The COVID-19 pandemic has shown us only too clearly that we need real investment in the nursing profession in order to successfully secure global health.
She added that investment can make a huge difference in the lives of patients.
Commitment, dedication, and willingness cannot be bought. However, by investing in our profession, every citizen, regardless of their socioeconomic status, will reap the benefits.
During the pandemic, nurses from all over the country benefited from accelerated ICU training. Nurse Smith-Bethel hopes for more training programs and noted that without nurses, the outcome for many patients would have been worse.
Nursing is more than a job. It is a passion. It is a profession. Nursing is an art, and COVID-19 has brought public awareness to the contributions of nurses.
For all the contributions made, Minister Dialsing pledged his continued support to the nursing profession, and he saluted all nurses in the country.
And we continue to give our thanks to all nurses in Trinidad and Tobago and throughout the world.
For Tobago Updates, I am Candice Jackson.
Find out more about the TTFA's training sessions in Tobago when we return with sport after the break.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. Turning now to sports. The Trinidad and Tobago Football Association will host screening sessions for girls between the ages of 13 to 15 years and boys between the ages of 12 to 14 years for selection to their high-performance teams. Tobago under-15s begin their trial at the Dwight York Stadium from next Monday. Registration runs from 3:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. and will be followed by training sessions from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Trial continues at the same venue on May 23rd and May 25th from the same time. Girls are encouraged to attend all screening sessions if possible. And for the under-14 Tobago boys, trials begin on Tuesday, continuing on Thursday, and the same schedule repeats for the following week. For each session, registration starts at 3:30 p.m. with training concluding at 6 p.m. All interested players must attend the sessions with one red jersey and one white jersey. For more information, contact 364-0489.
Now let's take a look at what the Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Office is forecasting the weather to be. For the period today until tonight, mostly sunny conditions are expected. During the day, conditions will be hot, sunny, and at times breezy, despite the low chance of a few passing showers. Nighttime will be mostly fair with a gentle breeze. Temperatures are expected to peak at 32 degrees Celsius during the day, but cool down to 25 degrees Celsius at night. Seas are slight to moderate, with waves between 1.5 and 2 meters in open waters and below 1 meter in sheltered areas. The sun will set at 6:18 p.m. today.
Let's recap the headlines. CPEP workers to get pay increase.
THA opened for proposals for a marina in Kingsby.
Autopsy for 2-year-old Kamani Francis delayed.
And in sports, TTFA to host screening sessions in Tobago.
That's it for your morning news. Join us again tomorrow at 8 a.m. for more news.
All right, Anicia. Well, first of all, I just want to say, because today is International Nurses Day, I want to just wish all nurses, a happy International Nurses Day, and we really appreciate the work that you do, because nurses are the backbone of the health sector, and without nurses, service and the care and the recovery of many patients would be affected.
I concur. The pandemic for the last 2 years has been stressful for everybody, more specifically for nurses, because they have been working around the clock 24/7. As soon as you come home, you have to bathe, go back out. So we do really appreciate you and all your efforts through the trying time that we had to all experience. You held your own, and we really are very grateful, and we want to say thank you.
Yes. And moving on to some other news, of course, we heard early in our newscast that, after the talk or the news about the marina in Friendship, it came on the scene. We have the THA yesterday coming out and saying, hey, okay, well, first of all, they feel disrespected by the way that information came out, because there was no official communication between them and NITCO, and now they're saying that they want to have a marina set up at Kings Bay.
Now, listen to this, right? Here's my question. I feel like all of this could have been prevented with the proper communication and proper channels. Because how could you release something without having a conversation with the Division of Infrastructure, and then the land that you want to use or requested is the land that is belonging to the THA, and you didn't get approval for it. So I feel like this whole thing is messy, and it could have been prevented if the proper channels and the proper communication was beforehand, and then you come to the public and you present us with a proper plan. Now there is a back and forth and a bickering and a quarreling, and who feel disrespected, who is blaming who feel like, you know, there's no consultation. So I just feel like this whole mess could have been properly avoided and prevented with just having a communication of what was required, what they needed, and let the THA be the one to say, well, hey, we don't think that that is the proper land or the appropriate land, but because they're saying that we don't.
Everybody wants the marina.
Everybody wants the marina. So it's not to say they don't support it. It's just that they don't agree with the location. So I feel like if they went to them and expressed their views, concerns, queries, and said, we do want to have this marina, and let the THA be the one to say, well, hey, we support it, you know, but we suggest this location.
And then we don't know if that discussion actually happened before in terms of under the previous administration, because that is very possible, but we are not sure about that at this point in time.
No, but even if that was the case,
then they should have met with the current.
Exactly.
Yes.
Even if you had an arrangement with the previous administration, I mean, it's common sense. It's not
it's like, yep, there's a new administration.
There's a new administration.
Meet
so
with them.
The agreement that you had before would not have been substantial now. So you would have had to have that communication.
Yes. So
but we're looking on.
It's an unfortunate situation, but we're going to see what happens, because, I mean, it looks like we might end up having 2 marinas after a long time of many of the stakeholders calling for a marina on the island. We're going to have a situation where we have 2 marinas.
But we're going to keep our ears pierced, and we would definitely see what is going to happen with that. But we have to take a short break right now. But when we come back, we'll be chatting with Ricardo Bob, and he's the health inspector, as we are going to have a conversation about Mosquito Week 2022.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO, and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Are you looking for that all-in-one shopping experience? Then look no more. Visit Lamb's Best Mart for your grocery items, fruits and vegetables, drinks, home items, stationery, gift items, hampers, shopping gift cards, toiletries, small hardware items, and much more. We provide order and pickup service, even delivery to your door. We are your friendly community supermarket. Check us out today at Lamb's Best Mart, located at 22 Daniel Trace Canby, or visit us on social media at Lamb's Best Mart.
I'm Patricia Nicholson Richards to our
Welcome
top
to Tobago
story.
Update Sports. I'm your boy Marcus Daniel. Thank you.
Trinidad and
looms
as
remains when the public is nobody lives here. Oil and gas exploration continues to affect the livelihood.
Spearside's marine
In Tobago fishermen,
When will the
Sion
Roxborough
Francis
Hospital be fully functional?
of the 5 a.m. to 12 p.m. window
Still
at
find
the island
treasures
like the golden
continue to
waterfall
rise
in Tobago.
Good morning, Tobago.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago, and joining me on set is Mr. Erlen Clark, who is an event promoter in Tobago. Good morning and welcome to you, sir.
Good morning to your viewers.
All right, great. Now, we're going to get the conversation started on Tobago Carnival. It's the middle of May, and we are yet to hear any information. We had, the Secretary for Tourism saying that, they're going to release the names for the committee for Carnival. We had the Chief Secretary giving commitments to that as well, and we have not seen anything. We're not seeing the calendar of events or anything like that.
Well, more so, just as everyone else, we're waiting with bated breath. Myself and our team is waiting with bated breath. But what we did is more or less put together our calendar of events for the October festival, and we're just hoping that by the end of this week or so that they release the names or the committee so we can start moving forward with planning a festival in our space.
Have you yourself been engaged by anybody on the THA or attached to the THA regarding, what are some of the ideas or one of some of the things that you guys want to see as part of this Tobago Carnival?
Not directly, I would say more so indirectly. Because the words are bandying about in this space, but what I believe is happening is that they want to implement the committee first before engagement happen.
Okay, and what are some of the ideas that you as an event promoter have in terms of what would you like to see for this Tobago Carnival?
Well, definitely one of the conversation in this space is that they don't want to see the Trinidad style carnival in this space, but mind you, I've been in the carnival space for over a decade, but where it comes from a revenue standpoint, definitely the Trinidad type of carnival is what brings the revenue into the space. Just as recent as last 2 weeks, Jamaica would have put out an article where because of cancellation of carnivals in their space, they would have lost over 4 billion Jamaican dollars. Barbados also, even Miami. It shows that where it is that the Trinidad style carnival in spaces are really bringing the revenue into the space and benefiting persons who are there.
All right, and what is the interest that you are getting from your patrons and so on from, let me say, Trinidad or even outside of Trinidad and Tobago for Carnival?
Well, a lot of people are very interested because not just with events, I'm also a co-owner of a band called Zane. So more or less, we have persons interested from the US market, from the UK market, want to come into this space to partake in the carnival. So the interest is there. As I said, we hope really as a stakeholder that by the end of this week, some form of information is out so we can more or less move ahead in regards to planning, because Guyana is having a carnival the early part of October and they already have a calendar of events out and interest is growing there. So more or less, really and truly, the mecca of carnival in the world is Trinidad, and everyone know, well, once you say Trinidad, you say Tobago, so people are very interested and enthused to come to this space. So really, we hope that the committee is put together and the information is out.
If that information doesn't come out by the end of this week, what can it cost Tobago Carnival? Or at least, let me say, if even it doesn't come out the end of this week or the end of this month, what can it cost Tobago Carnival?
Well, more so what is happening is that in July, Carnival band launch starts in Trinidad. So once band launches in Trinidad, the focus now moves to the Trinidad market. So we're really hoping that they move forward quickly in regards to setting the information out, because overall, just a rough estimation, Tobago is geared to make within this space over $50 million just in that week only for Carnival, because if you look averagely, someone spends $1,500 US for a week, and we have 5,000 visitors within this space. When you multiply that, it's over $50 million we're getting into our space, and the spin-off is huge because we have bed and breakfast, hotels. It's huge because in Trinidad, bed and breakfast normally make roughly just for the carnival week $40,000–50,000 TT off of carnival goers in this space.
Are you afraid that we might miss that boat?
Afraid, no, but concerned, yes. Because what happens is that even if we do miss the boat, definitely what it would give us is for us to go back to the table, really plan 2023. If it is that they come out and they said, you know, there's difficulties in moving forward, 2023 is, we can create a committee that will be able to market the carnival for 2023 and definitely get the influx of persons that we're really looking for, hopefully in the October Fest.
All right, well, let's talk about the Tobago Carnival itself and what it should like. So we're hearing a lot of the voices saying that, you know, there has to be that distinct Tobago Carnival look for the carnival. It should not be overridden by the Trinidad influence, because there is a Tobago culture that is carnival in nature and that should be exhibited for this Oktoberfest.
And one of the things that we have to look for is really and truly how we could fuse the two together, because as I said, the buying for carnival is really people, Mr. Sandiford earlier on was indicating that beads and feathers, but really and truly the buying for carnival throughout and the carnival goers is the beads and feathers. That's where the money is. And if we're really looking at a revenue standpoint within the space and getting diaspora to buy in, to come into the space, that's what we have to go. But what we have to find is that balance to fuse the two together, because we have the Tobago Festivals Commission that deals with the Tobago Heritage Festival, which is solely based on our culture. So how are we going to fuse, and based on conversation that's being had, really and truly we have to look at how we're fusing it together. We can have where it is that the Tobago Festival Commission gather the community groups to do a portrayal of our culture within the space, but definitely the buy-in is really and truly is in the beads and feathers, if we're being realistic.
And then how do we do that? What are the ideas or suggestions that you have as to how we could fuse it so that there is that balance?
Well, as I indicated in a conversation just yesterday with someone, is really and truly engaging the community groups to put together a display or a band that will showcase the different, if it's the reel and jig, the belly, the tambour, all these kind of things within the space, that basically it will be observed within the space and so on. But when it is that you're trying to push carnival bands or entities to really stay within the culture, it's very difficult to get the buy-in from person, because you would know a carnival band, just yesterday talking to one of the band leaders, they're looking to spend over $800,000 for the carnival in October. So when you're making those type of investments, you definitely want a return. And when you're talking about just pushing straight culture, definitely you're not going to get that return, based on the fact that persons who buy into the carnival space is really on the beads and the feathers.
Okay. And of course, a lot of people are also saying that we need, you know, a 7 to 14 day calendar of events.
Correct.
Before the 28th to the 30th of October, which is supposed to be the pinnacle or the peak of that carnival experience.
Well, we do definitely have to have a build out, a calendar of events coming up, and it's not even 14 days. We could actually go from the 1st of October straight down into the end of October. So more or less is really how we building out the product, is we'll basically sell how we really have persons buying to the space for October. As I said, persons are very excited. They're calling. They want to be part of this this initiative. But definitely, we have to release the information for persons to get involved.
And tell me about some of the events that you are interested in hosting for that carnival.
Well, one of the events, based on what would have happened in the past, I normally host a signature event called Call to Paradise, which is the after carnival cool down. So in October, we started an event, my company started an event called Pink Brunch. So we definitely have that on our calendar. We also would have interest from Trinidad entities who wants to partner with us. I'm talking about large events, where boats of carrying persons over 10,000 going patrons to an event, want to partner with us to do events in this space. And that's one of the things, because I'm also the president of the Promoters Association in Tobago. So one of the things, liaising with the president of the Promoters Association in Trinidad, they would have indicated that they don't want to come into this space solely on their own. They're willing to partner with persons in the Tobago space, so that basically individuals in the space could benefit from the initiative.
And there's that sharing of revenue and
correctly, that's sharing of revenue, sharing of knowledge, and even your brand, because put all the promoters in the space in Tobago together, definitely going up against a big brand from Trinidad, it's difficult because their brand is not just local, it's regional and international. So even with partnering with a brand, a huge brand, is more or less knowing that here what your brand could stand on its own even after the Tobago Carnival. So definitely we're looking at the heritage time, we're looking at jazz time, we do events there, person will buy in because you will have regional persons who come to the event and say, well, yes, I know this particular brand, I don't mind buying, I don't mind going back to Tobago after the carnival period.
All right, well, I mean, do you have any messages that you want to let that the THA know? Like as to why it is so crucial that, you know, they get that committee together and they get those dates and the calendar events announced to the public.
I think the THA is fully aware of the importance of this committee. What I definitely would like to see is more or less persons who involve in the committee definitely are hands-on and dealing with stakeholders, that we'll be able to have this, produce this Tobago Carnival, make it a success, because first impression counts. And without having a good first impression, definitely the buy-in wouldn't be as great come the second, third year. And out of the blocks, we have to give our first impression and make sure that it counts.
All right, well, thank you, Mr. Clark, for having this conversation with me and just sharing your views on the carnival. We certainly do hope that we can have some information about that carnival, or the dates, the committee, all these things that we need to make sure that we can have that profit. So that's it from me for now, but we'll be right back after the break.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes for breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules, or if you are having a cooking day off.
And welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. And of course, we have been speaking a lot this morning, both on GMT and on the Tobago Updates Morning Show, about Carnival and the need to have those dates released, the calendar of events released, the committee.
Yes, I know the secretary said that we were going to have the names of the committee released this week when they had the flights coming to Tobago last week. I know she said that we were going to get the names this week. Unfortunately,
we have not seen anything yet.
We haven't seen anything as yet, but I am hoping that they are working, you know, very hard in the background, because she did say they were working really to get everything detailed, you know, all the detail planned out. It took a lot more time than usual. So hopefully, I don't know, next week we could see something?
Well, no, we should be seeing it this week because, again, the secretary gave that commitment and she said by this week. So there is the rest of today and there is tomorrow.
But if we don't see or hear anything today or tomorrow, I'm hoping that we would at least hear something next week, Wednesday, for Executive Council, because everybody's anxious, everybody's eager, and people want to know exactly what is going on so they could plan accordingly, because there are some promoters who would have their events and they don't want anything to clash because it's not a competition.
Yes, it's about making sure there's a flow, and then, you know, each event does have the opportunity to benefit, and that cannot happen unless, you know, we know exactly what's going on. But not only that, as Mr. Clark explained, there's other places in the region that are putting out carnival events, because as we're getting out of the pandemic, you know, the places are opening up and people are crying out. I mean, they want to go back into carnival, they want to party, they want to fete. So other places are capitalizing now and trying their best to get their foot in. So if we don't, I mean, we have the dates announced, but if we don't put the details out there, we're going to lose out.
And the calendar of events is very important. So I'm hoping that they would release something, if not today, tomorrow, next week by the latest.
It should be this week. They should be keeping their commitment this year. They said it was going to be this week, so it should be this week.
But you know how these things go sometimes. But
that was not the first commitment either, because then I think it was earlier up in April we had the Chief Secretary stated, yeah, within a week. I mean, because we interviewed him at the opening for the Castara Fishing Facility, or the commissioning, or the renaming, sorry, of the Castara Fishing Facility. And he gave that commitment then.
Now listen to me, right? This is how my mind works. Sometimes you have to give people the benefit of the doubt. And you don't have too many expectations, because then you will never leave room for disappointment. So they said that we were going to get it today or this week. If it doesn't happen today or tomorrow, you're holding on to next week. Because at some point in time, the names have to be released for persons to be able to know exactly what is going on. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have today. As I say always, stay safe, keep smiling. We will see you again tomorrow.
Okay, all right, and bye everyone.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks a favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong.